Hello everyone, and welcome to my video today, Yoga for Your Hips. This is going to be a great video if you have tight hips, if your hips are sore from a workout, or possibly just a long car ride or travel, or you're just looking to loosen up the areas around your legs where we connect right to our core. So hips is a broad word, so I want you to think outside of your glutes, I want you to think front of the pelvis, I want you to think tailbone a little bit into lower back, and hopefully we're going to get that entire surrounding region so that you can feel healthy and happy. A lot of hip pain can be really annoying, it can be very frustrating, and it can also cause you to limit your mobility. So the goal today is that you can find your movement and remain happy. Let's get started. So it's really important for this class that you have a block. So I would love for you to utilize a block that you own. You can get these easily on Amazon or at any local store or yoga studio. And it's also very important that if you don't have a block, you use something different. So you can use a pillow, you can use like a harder couch cushion, just something to elevate your hips. So I want you to go ahead and place the block underneath your tailbone. And then once you do that, it's gonna lift your hips up, and I want you to allow the bottoms of your feet to come together so that your pelvis drops forwards. We call this an anterior tilt. All right, so position yourself so it feels nice and cozy. And right away, you might feel your groin being pulled a little bit, your knees falling out to the sides, and that's what I want you to feel. From here, you can place your hands just on the tops of the knees so they rest. Don't press down though. Or you can place your hands at your heart, wherever you prefer. So sit up nice and tall, engage your low belly and just shut your eyes here. So as you start to notice this sensation and this opening in your hips, I want you to breathe into it. So right away, this could be rather intense, maybe it feels good. And if you are noticing that it's hard to sustain, that's okay and it's normal. I just want you to take about 3 more breaths. So inhale to breathe in. Exhale to breathe out. Inhale to breathe in. Exhale to breathe out. One more full breath in, draw the breath in, lift the stomach. Exhale a breath out of the lips, so just blow out your breath. From there, slowly blink your eyes open. And I want you to pull the knees back together and just kind of notice your hips. So I'm going to talk about your thumbs coming into your hip creases. So you're going to take your thumbs into the crease of your hips, pull your hips out to the side, and then kind of hinge forward. All right, and then again, we're going to inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, keep your thumbs here. Pull your hips out to the side and then hinge forward. And notice each time I'm keeping my feet together, but I'm allowing my knees to open up a little bit more. So inhale, come forward. Good, exhale, start to hinge and pull. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Thumbs are still right in the crease of my hips, which is pulling my hips externally open. Exhale, pull. And then from there, notice you reached a point where maybe your knees are pretty wide, and if they're not, that's okay. I want you to bring your hands forward. From there, you can scoot your booty back on the block a little bit, stay here, or start to lower to your forearms. So obviously, this is a much more challenging variation. So you can stay on the forearms or just stay on the fingertips and just kind of notice this feeling of falling into your pelvis. So stay here again, 3 breaths. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. With each breath, maybe you can drop lower. So notice, can you start to put the forearms down on your second breath out? One more full breath in. And then exhale the breath out. From here, I want you to slowly, slowly, slowly come up, help your knees back together, and then you're gonna come off of your block. We're gonna place our block at the top of our mat, and then we're gonna shift to our hands and our knees slowly. We're gonna move our hips from side to side, so just finding that left and right movement. So really take your hip bone, push. Take your hips and push, and now stack your shoulders right on top of your knees. I want you to inhale, take 1 cow pose for me, look up. And then exhale, take 1 cat, pull it down. From there, you're gonna walk your knees back a little bit, walk your hands forward a little bit, so you're in an extended tabletop. I'm gonna pull my hips back and then start to draw circles with my pelvis on the ground. So rotate the belly around and then gently pull back. So what we're doing is we're lubricating the hip joint. We're allowing the synovial fluid to start to move in the hips. And it should also kind of tell you where you're tight, where you feel tension. Now 3 times in the opposite direction. So you're gonna roll the hips forward and around, pull them back. And it's okay if they feel different from side to side. Roll them forward and around, pull them back. Last one, so 3 on the left, 3 on the right, roll them forward. And then exhale, walk the knees forward and come into child's pose. So allow the knees to open in this child's pose. My big toes are touching, my knees are open, and I'm gonna extend my arms forward. Exhale the forehead down. Take a full breath in, and then a full breath out. Good. Inhale, slowly slither forward onto your belly, and now prop yourself up into Sphinx. And then all I want you to do is find the shift side to side. So notice my shoulders and my elbows are stacked. And I'm rolling on the top of my quads, so I'm loosening up the area around my hips, so all the muscles that connect to them. And then I'm also starting to notice the sensation build and grow in the top of my legs, allowing my back to also release. Go ahead and stay there. Keep your feet together. My knees are open. My hands are splayed out to the corner edges of my mat, and I'm just going to inhale, lift my heart, prop myself up for a second, and then exhale, come down. Good. Relax your legs. Do that again. Inhale, raise the heart, lift up. And then exhale, come down. And then one more time, I want you to bring your legs together. I want you to press through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your heart up, 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 and then hold on your exhale. Take another full breath in. And then you're going to slowly, slowly lower. We're going to root our hands where our elbows are. Press up to high plank by curling the toes. And then exhale to your downward facing dog. Heels press down. So I want you to shorten your down dog so that your heels are down, which allows a deeper stretch in the back of the legs. So with the heels down, I'm forcing this tension in the back of my heels and into my calf muscles, allowing for a release. So if I were to come to plank right now, I wouldn't really be able to go into my full plank. Notice my tailbone is elevated. That's how short my down dog is. Take a full breath in and bring the big toes to touch, and then inhale, raise the right leg high. Bend your knee and open up your hip. Raise your right thigh bone up. So I want you to imagine your thumb is just like before in the crease of your hip when we were seated, and I want you to pull your hip back. Take another big breath in. Exhale, one big hip circle forward. One big hip circle back. And then inhale, lift the leg. Hip is still open. Exhale, watch my big toe. It's going to rotate down. Close the hip. Exhale, bring my thumbs together as I step to the outside of my right hand. Pause here. Inhale, pull the chest forward. Exhale, we're going to lower our back knee. From here, I want you just to pause, and I want you to check in with the front of your left pelvis, your hip flexor, and notice the sensation. Stay here for another breath, and then maybe you use your block again, and you can lower to your forearms. Remember, pillows work totally fine as long as they have some hardening to them. Drop in. And you can also drop all the way down. It's totally up to you. So all the way down would be no block, and then on your forearms. Stay here for 3. 2, if you're on your block, you can press it forward, straighten the arms, and then watch. I'm just gonna exhale. It's gonna supinate my foot, so it's gonna lift my big toe side. I'm gonna roll onto my pinky toe side and dorsal flex my foot. So flexing the foot protects the knee. I'm gonna press into the knee, roll my chest open, look over my back shoulder, and then I'm gonna exhale, plant my foot, hug the leg towards the midline. All right, exhale, externally rotate the hip, look over the right shoulder, and then ground the hand, ground your foot. One more time, open the hip, hand to thigh, press and open. And the reason we're moving is to allow our body to get warm. Exhale, both hands down and pause. Pick up the back knee, which right now this back left hip should feel like it just had some work because you've been here for a couple minutes. We're gonna exhale, turn towards the camera, so rotate to your left, wide-legged fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. And then exhale, let your heels be soft as you fold in, relax your head down, shake it side to side. From here, we're gonna deeply bend back into this right knee. Skandasana. So option one, I want you to stay right here. Okay, so what this does is it allows you to stay grounded and not put too much pressure on the knee. And if that's too hard, you can also put one hand on hip, one hand on thigh. Otherwise, I want you to sit lower towards the heel. My foot's gonna turn out just slightly as my opposite heel is gonna lift up. Option to stay, or option to bring the hands at the heart. So again, some of you might feel like you're tipping forward. That's very normal. You can use your fingertips. You can also take your block or your pillow and you can prop it underneath your heel, which will then allow you to stay here for longer. All right, so that's gonna protect the foot if that's too much pressure there for you. So stay there for one more breath. And then what I want you to do is exhale, slowly release it. Again, this should feel rather intense. Straighten back into this wide-legged fold. Then we're gonna inhale, turn our toes out 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Hands on thighs, come up to goddess. So this hip opening pose is rather strenuous. You should feel it in your legs. Hands are on your thighs. Inhale, pull your heart towards me, lift your head, and then exhale, just kind of shift side to side. From here, I want you to inhale, raise your arms to the sky. Exhale, pull your hands to your heart, sit lower. Good, inhale one more time, reach up. Now this time, exhale, hands down, and then we're gonna pop our tailbone up, straighten our legs, pivot the feet, and fold in. Let's walk back to the front of our mat. Keep the right foot on the outside of the right hand. Lower your back knee. Place your right hand on your right thigh and then inhale, raise your left arm really high into the air for me. Exhale, release the left hand and the right, high plank pose. First chaturanga, lower. Inhale, top of your feet, raise your heart. And then exhale, back to your down dog. We're gonna ground our heels again, so short down dog. So again, you can check this by if you rolled a plank, you could feel like you have more room. Ground through your heels. Go ahead and inhale, raise the left heel up high. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip as the heel drops to the butt. Pause and notice your breath. Again, imagine your thumb were in the crease of your hip, externally rotating it, so pulling it back. You want to look underneath your right armpit so you can see your toes, and then take one big circle. And then reverse the direction of the circle. Use your breath. Inhale, lengthen your leg. Keep your toes turned out. Exhale, close the hip. Look forward, bring your thumbs together over to the right, and now step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And just shift a little bit front and back. Go ahead and lower the right knee. So it's gonna feel similar on this side to experience some of the movements, but it's also going to feel very different from side to side. So I want you to honor those differences. And if you need to stay up in this pose, stay up. Or start to lower to your forearms. Or remember your block. So just notice the top of the right thigh, the bent knee on this left side. If the foot wants to fall out right away, you want to keep the big toe grounded and soft. Take your time, and I want you to slowly straighten both arms if they're not already, and pull your heart forward. Good, exhale, supinate the foot, flex the foot, place your hand on your back thigh, open as you twist, take a breath in. And then exhale, come back to center, ground your foot. Two more. Inhale, twist and open, look over the back shoulder. And then exhale, ground the foot flat. Last time, inhale, twist and open, hand to thigh, open the chest, top of the right hip, should feel this a lot. And then exhale, release. Take your time, pick up your back knee. You're gonna pivot to your right, wide-legged stretch, and then you're gonna fold forward. So I'm gonna pivot so you can see me better. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate to the front of my mat, but I'm gonna use the same side as you. And then we're gonna exhale, deepen into our left knee. All right, so you're gonna be moving that way, and I'm moving this way for you. Now, again, you can stay in this upright position, or you can deepen the bend. Keep the heel up, rotate your other foot. So don't let this foot stay down, dorsal flexion, toes are up. If you can, you'll plop the heel down and then bring the hands to the heart. Flexibility-wise, this is hard in your heel and your hips and in your hamstring. So just listen to your body. If you need to stay up, please do. We'll stay here for one more breath in. And then on your breath out, we're gonna pivot back to center into that wide-legged fold. Again, your bottom is facing me. I've just rotated towards you. Exhale, drop your head down. We're gonna inhale, come back to goddess. So bend the knees, turn the knees out, hands to thighs, lift the heart, and again, shift side to side. And one more reminder, if you're trying to figure out why I'm not facing, or why you're not facing me, it's just because I rotated so you could see me easier. Take your time, come to stillness, inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring them to your heart. One more time, inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring them to your heart, and then all the way down, straight-legged fold. I'm gonna shift back to the top of my mat, so you shift back to your left foot, which is at the top of your mat, and then we're going to gently make our way back to high plank. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Now we're gonna come back to those hip circles on our exhale. So again, walk the knees back, walk the hands forward. They should feel different. To the right, 3 rounds. 1, pull the pelvis around. Notice how my tailbone scoots all the way back to my heels. 2, shift forward, melt the pelvis. 1 more time. And then exhale, pause when you get back. And we're gonna move to the left. So go ahead, pull the left hip forward and around. 1. Left foot forward and around. 2, or hip bone. And then last one, pull it forward and around. Exhale, open the knees, big toes touch, push back to child's pose, drop your forehead down. Exhale, take a breath in, and then on your breath out, press up. So you should feel warm in the front of the hips a lot. So we're gonna get into the outside of the hips a little bit now. So there's 800 yoga poses you can do for your hips. So if you know one and you haven't seen it yet, then it could be coming, or it's just not in this sequence. So you're gonna take your right knee and you're gonna make big circles out to the right, all right? 1 more, and then I want you to reverse it. So try to keep your arms straight for me. And then I want you to take your right leg, extend it all the way back behind you, press the ball of your foot into the ground, lift your heart. From here, walk your hands forward more so you're extended. Bring the right knee forward, cross it over your left foot. Okay, so now my knees are stacked and I'm gonna take my feet and I'm gonna open them to the sides. And I'm gonna sit on my butt. Now some of you are gonna sit and you're gonna be way up here, or your knees are gonna be way back here. And that's okay, that's where your block comes in handy, so sit on a block. So if your butt is not flat, sit on a block, all right? And if you're feeling off balance, sit on a block. If you feel miserable and this isn't for you, then just lay on your back, all right? Same exact pose. It's called cow face pose, Gomukhasana. I'm gonna rotate towards you so you can see me easier. Knees are stacked, feet are in dorsal flexion. I want you to take your time. We're gonna root our right hand down. Okay, so the right leg is on top, right hand down. If you can, your forearm will come down. Inhale, raise your left arm up to the sky, fall deeper into the right forearm, and then don't allow your left butt to lift, just stretch. And this sensation in the top of your left thigh bone and the outside of your hips and glutes should feel really intense right now. So this helps you notice your IT band, this helps you notice your piriformis muscle. Just breathe in, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then exhale, slowly release. So as we sit up tall, I want you to find that pelvic tilt, so shift your pelvis forward again. Again, you may be sitting high up on your block, and that's okay, so plop your butt up here if you need it. Inhale, lift your heart, and then exhale, we're gonna hold our feet like they're handles and then start to hinge forward. So you should feel this here and here, and then you can keep your feet flexed to protect the knee joint and the hips. So we keep our feet in dorsal flexion, protect that joint. Stay here, or if you have room, you walk your hands way out in front of you. And then I just want you to fold in and then notice this sensation not only in the hips, but you might even notice it running through the legs, into your feet, and even in your low back. One more breath in. Gracefully release. And then we're gonna switch legs slowly, but first I want you to widen your feet. So you're gonna take one ankle out and then the other. So again, I notice that you're facing forward. You can stay facing forward with your legs open, or you can face me, it's up to you. To grab the insides of your legs, externally rotate the hips by rolling them back. So I took my shoulders, which were forward, and I pulled them back. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Maybe you're still on a block, which will help you out a lot if you're tight, so please utilize it. Stay here. Option 2, hands to shins. Option 3, you're gonna walk your body down and forward. All right, start to notice your breath in and your breath out. You're just here for 3, 2, take your time, slowly press up. If you're facing forward, you're just gonna bring your knees back together. If you've turned towards me, lift your back leg and then shift back to the top of the mat. Very simple transition. Cross the ankles, press into your hands, step back to plank. Either lift to down dog or lower through a vinyasa if you wish. Press up and then exhale, press back. Inhale, breathe in. I'm gonna extend my down dog this time and kind of pedal through my feet as I exhale, breathe out. And then take your time, come back to tabletop. Stack your shoulders, second side, go ahead and 3 big circles on one side. Notice if you're shifting way over, stay upright. And then 3 circles in the opposite direction. 1, 2, and 3. Extend your leg all the way back, walk your hands forward more. Take the ball of your foot, press it down, press back through your heel. Look forward, scoop the belly up and in, scoop, 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 feed your foot over. Take your opposite foot away from you. So I'll show you this version with a block. Exhale, plop your booty onto a block. All right, so this forces my spine to be super straight. And then you'll notice that it takes my pelvis and it drops it forward. Okay? So I'm gonna stay this way so you can see me. Sit up nice and tall, breath in. Left hand down. Inhale your right arm to the sky and lengthen the side body. Now for me, I don't feel much when I'm on a block doing this. So if you're noticing that, remove the block and then you might feel more if you don't need it. Take another big breath in and then exhale, release back to your seat. Now you can stay on your block or you don't have to. Inhale, hold your ankles or your feet if you can. Remember, you can do this on your back. It's called supine cow face pose. And then exhale, start to shift forward. If you're noticing that the block is popping up, then that means you don't really need it. So feel free to release it. Sit down on your tailbone and then maybe walk forward from there. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly bring your body back up to seated, nice tall seat. And then exhale, I want you to slowly release your feet. Instead of going wide-legged this time, we're gonna plop to the pinky toe edges of our toes, bring ourselves forward, and then just start to splay our knees out. So this is our final effort here, is just kind of working into our forearms maybe. Fullest expression of this pose. So option 1, stay here. Your heels are slightly lifted, by the way. Option 2, reach around from the front of the shins and then exhale the forehead down, look back at your toes. And you're gonna feel this really nice rounding in the back, but you're also gonna feel this release in the outside of the tail if there's anything else to release. I already noticed from starting this practice to right now a release and tension in the outside of my tailbone, but also just this softness in the rest of my body. It's had a chance to relax. From here, wherever you are, you're gonna go ahead and inhale, lift your chest. Good. Exhale, standing forward bend before we come to seated. So open up your feet and then bow forward. Relax your hamstrings. So deep bend to the right, deep bend to the left, and then exhale, take your hands behind your legs, pull your chest to your thighs, shake your head left to right. Good. Turn your toes out, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Block needed if you want under your booty. Inhale, lift your heart for deep yogi squat. Hopefully you can sit comfortably here. If we can't, that's something we want to work on in our practice. Take another big inhale. Exhale, stay on the block if you want, or release it. And then slowly, I want all of you to release your block if you haven't yet, and we're just going to lay down onto our backs very gently. I want you to notice the heat that you've built in the front of your pelvis and the outsides of your hips and in your low back. I want you to inhale, raise your hips for a breath in, and then exhale, lower your hips for a breath out. Take the right ankle, cross it over your left thigh bone, and just press the right hip away. Again, it should feel nice and warm. And then exhale, just release it. Take a bridge pose. Inhale, raise the pelvis up. Exhale, lower the pelvis. Take the left ankle, cross it over. Press your left hip open and away. Release. Inhale, bridge up. And then exhale, lower. Bottoms of your feet touch. We call this Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle. Knees open, and now there should be very limited and less tension in your hips. I want you to keep your hands in your low belly so you can feel your breath, and just take 3 breaths here. And then on your next breath, assist your legs. So take your hands to the outsides, bring them in. Hug your knees in tightly into your tummy, squeeze them in. And then gently grab the back of the legs and then sit up. Rotate towards me. Sit up nice and tall through your tailbone. Cross the ankle that you normally wouldn't cross in the front. And then inhale, lengthen your spine. Good. Close your eyes and return to our first seat. This time our ankles are crossed versus the feet together. And I want you to notice that moving through the hips builds surprising heat. It releases tension and maybe emotion. For me, it relaxes my back. I was able to warm up my body and control my breath. Gently blink your eyes open. Take a big breath in. Raise both arms high. Exhale, pull your hands to heart center. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me in this practice of a hip opening, but also just the specific idea of stretching your hips. So even if they don't feel open, as long as they have more mobility or they feel looser, your body's going to feel better. So I thank you guys so much, and if you have any questions about your hips or this movement, I encourage you to comment below, and I'm happy to get back to you. Thank you.